welcome again to Wellness Deconstructed. I'm your host, Sia Jaffer, and today's guest is Nelly. Her name is like really complicated to say, but she's an impact storyteller who uses eco-friendly products as conversation starters to drive sustainability and climate change awareness through her platform, Green Think Kenya. With a background in journalism and a commitment to taking simple actions towards a greener lifestyle, Nelly is on a mission to inspire others to join her on this journey towards a more sustainable future. As a mother and imperfect environmentalist, Nelly understands the challenges of going green and is dedicated to taking everyone along with her towards a better world. Wow. That was such an impactful intro already.
Yeah.
Hi, Nelly.
Yeah, hi.
Welcome again.
Thank you. So happy to be here, finally.
It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So why don't we dive right in? Why don't you tell us what made you get into environment, the green life, the green world, and sustainability?
I think my answer is, why would anybody not want to do that? I think as human beings, sometimes we forget that we should be the change we want to see. And the more we assume, no, but somebody else is going to do it. Somebody else is going to do it. What if you're that somebody? I think that's the shortest answer. But I went into sustainability, or the relationship between environmentalism, wellness, sustainability, from the eye of that there was not enough stories around climate change and how it's impacting us, especially coming from the, I don't want to say victims, from, how would we say this? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is we should be able to tell our own stories, no matter where we are coming from. No matter who we are, it should be really important for us to tell our stories. When we tell our stories, the information is not distorted. The impact is more powerful. And I think that that's a more communal way to solve things. So when I started looking at the connection between environment, how we live, how we get sick, how we eat, how we rest, how we talk to other people, how our natural processes work in the environment and in our bodies, then I had to do something. And I think my entry point into that was plastic waste and plastic itself. Plastic is beautiful. I mean, from an entrepreneur perspective, I love plastic. It's so malleable. You can do different colors. You can change shapes. That would make my product stand out. But what most consumers don't know is, what is the cost of having a beautiful product? Are the contents affected? Do we have little pieces of plastic leaching into the product that it's carrying? There's a recent study that shows that there's about 240,000 nanoplastic in plastic bottled water.
Wow.
Basically drinking plastic soup, if there's a way to put it. And all these things I'm saying is that I had to find a way to use my journalistic experiences to be able to teach people on how to live better. So plastic is one of the biggest challenges we have at the moment. And whether we like it or not, it's affecting our bodies, it's affecting our economies, and we need to find a solution that fits us. And knowing that information and the experiences I have in communicating, I had to find a way, the best possible way to communicate with people. And that happened to be showing them how to do it using eco-friendly products. Yeah.
So I love that, because it's all about creating the right awareness. And I feel like where people get stuck is between awareness and solution. Be like, yeah, I know that this is so bad, but what do I do about it? Yeah. What solution is available unless I find the time to create my own solution? Yeah. So with Green Think Kenya, what I found is, I think it was one of the pioneers in providing the solution to the awareness in Kenya, at least. And that was the missing piece that you were able to plug in.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not just about plastic, because you moved from plastic to also creating other non-toxic products, which are like within your home, related to stuff that you put on your face, on your body, because it's not, the environment is not just affected, or the environment of the earth is not just affected by plastic, but also the other stuff that is made in the lab, the environment, and that affects the environment of our mind, the environment of our body. Do you mind telling us a little bit on that?
Yeah. plastic by itself is fine. It's our relationship with it, how we mismanage it, how we falsely use something that is possibly toxic to somebody and not give that disclaimer. So it's not a floating problem. And the more I get into using business for good, because I want my business to have a good impact in my community, not just Kenya, East Africa, but also among other human beings. It's not just plastic. How do I explain this? We live in a time where there's just so much toxins in the environment. And it could come from the food we eat, could come from the clothes we wear. There's a lot of polyester. Polyester sometimes BPA. It's affecting how we function. You think you're sad. You're not sad. There's something else changing the way your body normally functions. The amount of diseases we have that we've never heard of. Now we have them in Kenya. The rise of fertility clinics. People who could, get pregnant every year. Now sometimes for most people, they struggle a bit. It's not as easy as it is for most people at the moment, or how it was way back. So many things changed in between, and it's the toxins. It's really in the toxins. What we eat, what we wear, where we live, what we package it, it's everywhere. And I think there's the information, the awareness, there's the solution, but also there's execution. You have to know. And I know sometimes people look like, oh, it's so much work. I don't want to DIY my products. Oh, it's so much work. I don't want to be carrying a water bottle. Who knew we'd be carrying 3 phones in 2024 because you probably have 2 businesses, or that's just what is required. At the end of it all, you have to look at what is important for you. Do you like being healthy? Do you like being alive? If that's your jam, then you have to find solutions that actually fit you. And it's not, I feel like sustainability or going green is never, it's not entirely based on how expensive it is. I think the accessibility around going green is first, let's change our attitude. There are things we did way, way back. I mean, for example, mud houses, house made of clay and soil. We used to think, oh my gosh, that's poverty. No, that was eco, the energy efficiency. We're using products to construct houses right now that have lead. Heavy metals. Yeah, heavy metals. But do we have a standardized way to check this? No. So which means you and I have to go out there and find the information to truly be able to make informed, conscious decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're being so absorbed by consumerism and the industry that making these products that we actually just think about, oh wow, this looks nice, this feels nice on me, and this gives me the comfort or makes me feel luxurious, so I should get it. But like you said, even in our houses, the paint we put on our walls, the sofa we sit on, the bed sheets we lie on, the mattresses we sleep on, the night creams we put on ourselves, the sufurias we cook in, the aluminium sufurias we cook in, everything has a toxin. Yeah. And they, I think about it in the context of hormone balance, because in this day and age, the most common imbalance we're facing is the hormone imbalance, but we don't realize it. And BPA, parabens, everything mimics this estrogen, and it creates this reaction in your body like it's an estrogen, which disturbs the endocrine system in your body, and then disturbs your hormones, and then you're complaining that, oh, I have so much inflammation in my body, I have acne, I'm not able to get pregnant, or menopause is hitting way early in women now.
Or you just can't function properly.
Exactly, the energy, you don't have energy, you have chronic fatigue. But I feel like, sometimes I feel like, when is it ever going to be enough? Like, how much can I do that I can eliminate everything from my system, like, or from my house, right? I feel like, is it even possible?
No, it's not possible to be 100% zero waste, 100% non-toxic. I don't think so. We don't live in a bubble. You cannot be perfect in an imperfect system. Exactly. It's impossible. It's impossible to do that. We need to know that going green is not. It's not. There's no hospital there. if you come into the journey of going green with the attitude of, anyway, I'm not going to fix it.
Yeah.
This is too much. In fact, right now, if you go on the internet for anything, and the algorithm is so notorious at that, you've been researching on VOCs, the volatile organic compounds, that is normally sometimes found in toilet fresheners, soaps, the antibacterial, anything that is in there. No, don't. People out here think they have asthma or eczema. I know there's some who genuinely have it, but some of them are heavily reacting to this, but this information is not accessible to everybody to know. Like, actually, maybe I'm not asthmatic. Let me stop using this product from the house. That's how you start. Let me reduce with one. Monitor yourself for 1 month. Check how your money is moving. That too. Because if you don't need to buy one product all the other time, now you can invest in buying a more expensive product, and sometimes more expensive is probably 50 shillings more expensive. So you have to know if 50 shillings is really the thing between you and your health.
Yeah,
you've got to decide. Yeah, you've got to decide. So, and again, as I said, right now on the internet, you feel like everything is trying to kill you. Let's get things straight. We are not immortal. We're going to die one way or another. But if you know better, if you know that what you're consuming is affecting you, don't you want to die nicely? Actually, I think that's how I would put it. Walking into hospitals, not knowing what is affecting you, that's not. I think I'd rather spend my time running or hanging out with friends or having chai or picking tea or having a good time with my friends. I would rather have a good quality life.
Yeah.
And that I can only afford by fixing things that are affecting me. So no, you're not going to fix everything, but when you know better, you do better.
Yeah, you at least try. Like,
you at least
of course,
try.
we're not living in a perfect world.
Yeah.
But you try where you can and see, at least start within your home, right? So where do you think people should start?
2 places. The first one is the kitchen. The second one is the bathroom. The bedroom.
Okay.
Bedroom, I say that because it's where we spend half of our life. We sleep half the time we're alive. So a good quality linen bed sheet that respects the people that made it, that is actually, because there's also a lot of greenwashing.
Yeah.
Where they put something in, so the profit margins are better, and it's actually maybe not genuinely a linen product. And fake can actually imitate nature so well, you wouldn't even notice. I would check on what I sleep on. I would check on my night routine, because those are things we do in the bedroom. There's rise on self-care and beauty routines and facial routines. And most business people are rushing to fulfill that demand. You've seen the Stanley craze.
Yeah.
We have the same thing in the beauty industry. The beauty industry grew by, I can't remember the specific data, but it's in the billions, which means that's the perfect space for most people to introduce toxins to people.
Yeah.
And the skin is your largest organ, and it takes in everything you give it, including love. So the bedroom, for sure, there's a lot that you can start in the bedroom. And in the kitchen, we must eat the whole time. And when you have kids, it's like 8 meals a day.
Yeah.
What you cook with, these non-stick pans, there's some good ones. There's some really bad ones. Especially, sometimes you can actually tell, it's not often that you tell the quality of something by the price, but sometimes you can tell. A good non-stick pan should not be under 500 bob at any given point. Just by the logic of what it costs to make a handle, the thing because it's sprayed. And that spray, actually, as soon as you scratch it, then you're exposing yourself to, you have no idea. It's a huge collection of chemicals that make that. It's not one thing. So there's the cleaning products. There's the cups. Sometimes ceramic cups have lead, heavy metals.
Wow.
So we're ingesting stuff without knowing. And I know right now I sound like such an alarmist, but there is no way we can just continue producing and still take care of people's health. There's got to be a stop. There has got to be a balance between capitalism and what we truly need. And capitalism is not essentially bad. It can be for good. that's what Green Thing is doing. We want to have good products, products that I use, products that my children use, products that I even have to sometimes get a third party to test to know if it's good for me. Because if it's not good for me, then I shouldn't probably put it out in the market. So yes, there are businesses that are looking at how to actually have wellness, true wellness, in the center stage of businesses. And they have seen the potential that environment and wellness have, because there's a challenge there. But with every challenge, there's also an opportunity. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. I feel like, yeah, we spend most of our time eating or sleeping, right?
Yeah.
So, and for our kids also, I feel like it's so important for us to understand what we're putting in their bodies from now on, because when we were growing up, it wasn't this bad.
Yep.
Like, we were not exposed to that many toxins.
Yep.
Because when I talk to my parents and my grandparents about this, they're like, yeah, but we grew up and look, we are fine. So why are you being so particular about these things now? Like, and I'm like, yeah, but in that day and age, that the demand for products was not as much as it is now, because in terms of population, we are increasing like crazy. And it's just not possible for people to make products to meet the demands at this point in time. So everyone's taking shortcuts. But for kids, like, how have you created awareness for your kids related to sustainability and taking care of the environment, taking care of your body?
Yeah, I think my kids don't know anything else. And I actually think a lot of kids nowadays don't know anything else. Their careers are going to be based on eliminating plastic waste, trying to solve climate change, redesigning careers. I think way back, even if somebody would be a doctor right now, an artist, a chef, right now there is no way you can do anything without including a sustainable angle to your business. People are becoming vicious. People are also noticing, like, honestly, we cannot continue doing this. It is not sustainable for our pockets, for our lives. And these are the kids who are going to carry this. These are the ones who truly understand. They can voice themselves. They can adopt. They cook. When I grew up, boys were never in the kitchen. My brother was never in the kitchen. I mean, you can't really blame him for that. So it's because society pushed for that. And you can't really blame him that sometimes he can't know that the color of veggies has changed, or the size for tomatoes has gone into a perfect round thing. Nature is not like that. Why are there like 10 tomatoes, the same shape, the same weight, even soap, a handmade soap, a truly natural soap cannot be so standardized. It's very, very hard. There's always a difference. Our kids are in that age. This is what they learn in school. This is how they live. This is what they listen to in the media. This is on social media. So they know. And with kids, you just do. Don't even say. Just do. You'll be so shocked the things they will show you. Like, I only did that once. Why are you doing that? Also, why don't you copy the nice stuff? This is really bad. So I have been very, very intentional. The schools they go to, does that school touch on sustainability? Does it acknowledge that that is one of the most challenging problems that we have at the moment, but also one of the biggest opportunities we have at the moment? How do they eat? How do they sleep? How do they talk? Like, if we go to a restaurant, how can they politely say, I don't think you should bring a plastic straw, or I don't think you should give me in a disposable cup. I am big enough. I've been using glass from when I was born. So it's okay for you to give me glass, because glass is non-reactive. There's no lining in between. Unlike a lot of coffee cups that look like paper, but they have a plastic lining to keep it from just collapsing. Like what paper straws do. So yes, it's a wide sector that I've been able to immerse myself heavily, because for a long time I was just a mother, nothing else. And Green Thing, when I produced Green Thing, the TV show, it was really truly inspired by my son. I wanted to do better, and now that it's Green Thing, a retail. I want to continue with that. For me, maybe it comes a little bit easier for me, because that's what I do professionally and personally. And I can also tell you that it's not perfect.
Of course.
It's not particularly easy to transition your kids or your home from toxic, a lot of plastic, to non-toxic and less plastic, because you can never skip plastic. Otherwise, you'd have to throw your phone as well. It has plastic, but it's doable, and children understand, and they will support you, for sure.
Yeah, and I love what you said about how like the tomatoes are all perfectly round. So when they see something that is not, they're questioning it. So the other day, my younger one, he loves to be in the garden, so he went to harvest. So when he pulled out a carrot, it was like really short and like deformed. And so like, this is not a carrot. What is this? Carrots are supposed to be long and round.
Yeah.
And that was an opportunity for me to explain to him, like, you know, like things grow naturally. They're in different shapes. They can look different, but the fruit, the vegetable is actually the same.
Yeah.
So it's actually also like deconditioning them to and making them look a different way, or making them look at things a different way, and getting them to unlearn earlier on than at this age that we have to unlearn and feel guilty, like, oh my God, I put so much shit into my body, you know, like with all the perfumes that we like using and all the makeup brands that we used to buy. And now I'm like, whoa, everything that I'm buying, I'm questioning. And my mom is just looking at me like, what is going on?
You really have to
with
stand there looking at the ingredients. Hold on 1 minute, I have to check this. Does it have benzene? Oh, is that safe or not? Yeah, no, it's really important that we introduce it to kids. And one of the main ways that you can influence kids or people generally is education.
Yeah.
What are we putting in front of them? When we're showing tomatoes in a book, how does that tomato look? Is it far off from the reality? I think that's another thing. That was my other grounding factor for looking for schools. Be as realistic as possible. Unicorns don't exist. You can know them, you can be excited about them, but don't believe it is a true thing, which actually made me now make me want to teach my kids, where does our food come from? Where does our clothing come from? How do you process cotton to what you're wearing? And when you start that, it's easy for them to understand every part of it. It's easy for them to understand the true cost of something. And unlearning is actually more expensive and harder than learning. Learning you can pick. It's so easy to pick bad habits, but to break them. But once you pick the good stuff, once you unlearn, you're unstoppable. It doesn't matter which industry, be it in wellness, be it in sustainability, be it in professionalism. You're powerful once you learn to unlearn.
Yeah, and I feel like as parents, we have such a good opportunity right now to change the future, or at least like spark the change in the future. Because now, unlike how we were raised, because of no awareness, we have the awareness that we can spark that change by educating our kids. Now, living by example. I believe like for us as parents, living by example is the best way to teach our kids how to live more consciously, more sustainably, and question things that the consumer industry is like throwing at us, right? And it can be so tempting. Like my biggest challenge with my kids is candies. Like it's so yummy, it's so tasty, but it's so bad for you. And I'm like, I'm going to create substitutes for you. I create gummy bears at home, and they're like, doesn't taste the same, Mom.
What did you use?
Gelatin and watermelon juice or pomegranate juice. The beef gelatin, right? And they're like, oh, this doesn't taste the same, Mom. And I'm like, oh, I'm really trying here, guys. And I'm like, I don't know how to make good candy yet, but I'm going to look for a better substitute so I can show that. But when you take kids to the parties and stuff, like it's not fun. And even when I have kids over for my kids' parties, I had a fruit party one time, and I put bowls of fruits instead of candies.
Very ambitious.
And kids are like, no thanks, auntie. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a bad mom here, like trying to like change the narrative. But even like as party favors, I always look for like sustainable stuff. Like so for one of the parties, I had given your cutlery set to them, and they were they were like expecting like a bag of candies or like toys. And they were not happy when they saw that. So it's I feel like we have to make those we have to take those difficult steps, and hoping that one day it will be an accepted norm too.
I think what helped me with kids as well, especially parties, is make a healthy alternative that is so close, almost identical to the actual thing. Play optical illusion. Sometimes when they're so busy, they won't nag too much. They'll probably eat it while talking to their friends.
That's
Before you know it, that's their reality. I remember we used to do this snack where you get a skewer stick, put an apple on it, and then dip into Nutella, and then you probably shouldn't name brands. Well, I was putting this chocolate thing on it, and then we stick nuts on it, or the colorful, what are they called?
The
Those
sprinkles.
toppings. Yes, that.
The rainbow sprinkles.
Yes. So I shifted to the sprinkles that have sugar in it, and went to sprinkles that have fennel inside.
And where do you find those? Oh yeah, those ones that
You
they
can
put
have
in those
fennel.
Indian
Yes.
masalas, right?
Yeah.
Like the mouth fresheners.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then instead of the chocolate thing, then you get like Linda nut butters. She makes, yeah, it's natural stuff. Before they know, and then of course the fruit. So they don't know the difference. And the skew stick, I don't have to work so hard. They can even get sticks by themselves and put it in.
Yeah.
So making something that looks so similar to what you're usually used to helps. And it's not, that trick is not just for kids, it's also for you. Like if a
To
dish,
trick your brain.
yeah, if a dish sponge you're used to being square, then let's have another square one, but eco one. It will make the transition way, way easier for you. And then that also can help you to look at it like this is not a far-fetched thing. It is actually possible. It is practical. That helps. I have a few rules. No, I have one major rule for wanting to go green. Do an audit. Take your time. Do an audit even for 2 months. Observe yourself. How do you spend? How do you shop? How fast does your kitchen bin fill up? What's in there? Because the more you fill, also it's exhausting to continue just doing. Yeah. Also, it's just not cool. Well, you don't need all that. Once you figure out how you operate and what is generating a lot of waste, start with eliminating that. Now you go to the second fold of whatever I'm choosing to replace this with. Is it safe for me? Is it affordable for me? Is it accessible in the Kenyan market? Is it replaceable? Is there a refill option? You know, sometimes the other good alternative is probably not packaged in something that would be able to be recycled in Kenya. So you have to compare 2 eco products. So to say, an audit will give you a glimpse into your own life, not just about the toxins in your home or the plastic in your home, but also how you spend and probably why maybe the little things are not bringing joy to you because you're just doing them because just pick that one up. But when you're going, you know the story of the person that made your product, you talk with them, you inspire each other, then consuming becomes quite holistic.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it becomes like a movement,
Yeah,
right? That you're attached to the movement because you know the person making it, the concept, the reason behind it, how it's affecting you, your family, your home. And it's so much more interesting then.
Yeah, also where is your money going?
True,
If
where you're
it's-
spending.
yeah, exactly. That helps.
And from spending, I remembered that you know, when we go to the supermarket, there's like so many cleaning products, like a linen spray, a furniture wipe, a sofa cleaner. There's so many different things. But there's stuff that you can just make at home.
Yeah.
Not spend money, or so you're saving money on that. You are making stuff at home, which is coming out of more love.
Yeah.
And also it's so hormone friendly, but also close to nature, like because you're using more natural products to clean your house. And I know that you make them too. I make them too at home. But why don't you tell us about them?
We've shared. Okay, so you've realized plastic is a pollutant.
Yes.
You realize that there's so many other things we're consuming in our home that contain pollutants. So you have the awareness. Now, then you start the research. Once you do the research, then you can opt between, am I buying the product or am I going to make the product? So the first thing is you have to look, why do I need to buy and why do I need to make? You need to make because that's the fastest way you can check. Start trying with some of the non-toxic products sold are actually the ones that people DIY heavily. And if you can just mix water with vinegar and clean the windows, clean fridge,
Even the
clean
floors.
stove top, floor, fruits, veggie, why would you want to buy? That's not logical.
Yeah, and that's like,
Yeah, and when you make at home, you have so much creative freedom. Today it can smell like lavender. Tomorrow it can be tea tree, patchouli.
yeah.
Yeah, you can, of course, at some point you'll have to know which essential oils are for cleaning, which ones are for deodorizing. That's one of now the deeper part of if you decided I'm going to DIY.
Yeah.
Then you go into the journey of learning ingredients.
Yeah.
And it's such a joy because when you start learning ingredients, you even learn cultures in Kenya. You know, there's some cultures that have associated, related with coconut so well. You look at them, they look like
Coastal.
yes, yes. They know so many ways of using coconut.
Yeah.
And for green thing, for example, not even just green thing, by myself, I love to have a product that is circular. For example, coconut, I can make oil, I can make milk, I can make cookies, and the husk, I can make a candle at home with the kids. Could be a fun thing for parties.
Yeah. Make
So you
coconut
put
candles.
the fruits, and then you tell them, okay, now we're going to make a candle, and then we're going to light it up. Kids are obsessed with the idea of making fire happen.
Yeah.
So they would
Yeah,
love
you're
to
so
make
right.
a candle and light it up and then blow it.
Yeah.
There's also that. So that's a nice way to understand Kenyan cultures and what it has to offer. You know, there's coconut coming from this region, there's makuti coming from this region. You love people in the journey of you learning how to love yourself better. Yeah.
And I feel like also when understanding ingredients, you learn how one product, like you said, circular, right? Like how one product can be used in so many different ways. So when I dived into learning about essential oils, I bought books and I bought oils and I studied them. And I realized that just lavender, of course, it smells great. It can calm you down. But when you have anxiety, it's just going to calm your nerves. It's so good for your nervous system. If you want to sleep, just spray some lavender on your pillow. You can use it in cleaning products, of course. So there's so many different ways one thing can be used, and how you were explaining, like you can use water and vinegar and some essential oils for floor cleaning, window cleaning, washing your veggies, washing your fruits. There's like 4 or 5 different products that you would buy from the supermarket, and actually go and see like a whole line of it, and actually even see it on Instagram, people buying, like, oh, today I'm restocking my linen spray, today I'm restocking this, and I'm like, guys, you really don't need to spend so much money on buying all these different cleaners when you can just use one formula. Just change it up a little bit according to your preference and use it for all the different things. Saves money, is non-toxic, is good for your body, good for your mind, and good for the environment. And I feel like we're meant to be so in sync with nature, but all these things are just taking us further and further and further away. So where do you think, okay, you already said that we should start in the kitchen and the bedroom. So once you do the audit, what is the first step that the audience can take after listening to all of this?
So when you're done with your audit, you have to realize what product, what kind of waste are you generating in a house. And once you figure out what waste you're generating, then you can figure out how to replace or do away with it. Actually, some things I think we're just used to the idea of, we are cultured, we're like robots. We don't stop and think, do I actually need this? No, probably you don't need that. So it's the research part. The research part can allow you to know what you can buy ready-made, as I said before, or what you can make. And in terms of making, in terms of non-toxic cleaning or leaving, so to say, there are a few specific products that I think every house should have. Sodium bicarbonate. For sure, it has about 20 uses as a laundry and fabric softener. Some hotels actually use that for making the luxurious lodges towels fluffy and very white. I like to add sodium bicarbonate in my laundry powder to make it lasts longer, and it gives it more power. You can use it for cleaning veggies. You can put a little bit in your closet to remove the mold or smell. You can put it in the fridge to remove smell as well. You can put it in the bin. You can do a lot with which is baking. Actually, maybe this is an experiment you can try. Just go to your pantry right now, get sodium bicarbonate, do 1 spoon of any dish soap that you have, and 1 spoon of sodium bicarbonate. Make a paste. Clean your sink, and let us know. Now, maybe calculate the cost of what it costs you to do baking soda and soap. How much did it cost you versus you buying a paste in the supermarket? Once you figure that out, now duplicate that in at least 4 other products in a year. There's no rush. There's no rush. Another thing I would say is, just because you want to be eco and you want to live green, it doesn't have to be ugly. It actually can be quite cute. If you do a lot of DIY, you can decorate jars as much as you can. Once you figure that out, I think it's going to be the very best birthday or wedding gift you can give to your friends. It's so authentic when my girlfriend or my boyfriends make something for me. It's really nice than buying. Like, it came from the heart. Even the way they put the little note, you had me in your mind. So, yeah.
That's really good. Like, yeah, I think that's like a very constructive step for you guys to know where to start. Just soda bicarbonate, that's what you need to add to your kitchen pantry. If you don't have it yet. I'm sure most of us have that.
Well, lots of anybody who bakes. Even if it's just pancake. I think a lot of people use baking soda, and now people know. I think it's getting. I love how sustainability and environmentalism and wellness is becoming a trend.
Yeah,
it's becoming a fad. I'm out here for it, but also that sometimes comes with greenwashing. So we have to try and be as conscious as possible when buying. The second product that I think everybody should have to promote wellness in a home is Castile soap. That's the soap of wonders. That's the original soap. It's originally from Spain. That was the purest form of soap. They could brush their teeth with it, shampoo, clean floors, anything.
Laundry.
I think, that's a gentle way of telling insects to move away from plants. I don't know how to put it in the best way possible. But yes, Castile soap will give you so much freedom. And vinegar, of course. Yeah. Vinegar. And vinegar, you can use it as is. You can add essential oils. You can start playing with putting orange peels. My kids do that. I think by the time my son was 5, he could make a vinegar orange peels cleaner. And it's not hard. We could do it because essentially put some vinegar here, and it was a fun way for him to learn numbers and measurement and SI units, ml, liter, whatever. There are kids who are sometimes obsessed with numbers, and sometimes you start noticing when you do things by hand and there's no other fun thing to do than a child learning while doing something that is good for them.
It's so fulfilling, right?
It's so fulfilling. I know, I've aced this. Yeah. Bring on the babies. One more children. Except that's not how it works. Babies are fully fledged human beings with their own thought processes, their own ways of responding to stimuli. And so you're just nurturing them. You don't own them. So I don't think I want to have more children, because just 2 with extremely different personalities is enough.
I wanted to say that I loved the fact that you said that you love that wellness and environment and sustainability is becoming a trend, because I'm always like, can you guys not follow trends because you don't know what it's coming? And then my brain was telling me like, yeah, the wellness is just another trend. Like, why are you still working in that field? But then I'm like, you know what? It's actually a really good trend to have, because it's creating the right awareness that a trend should. And I feel like it's a great way of looking at it. Like, wellness is the trend that I want to jump on. Like, that is one trend I will tell you to jump on. But make sure you have the right information. Like you were saying, like, it can be greenwashing too. And in the name of wellness, people can give you generalized information, which might not work for your body or for your environment, for the environment that you live in. So it's important to understand what your bio-individuality is and question everything before you follow it. But it is a great trend to get on. So if this is the nudge you needed, then take it. So one last thing, I wanted to talk about fashion and sustainability and the non-toxic side or the toxic side of it. because it's the one thing that I really struggle with. I love shopping and I love wearing different clothes. And when I go to a fast fashion store, it's like if I look at something that I really like and I'm like, yeah, but you know, like this is made with like these dyes and I don't know if it's real cotton or not and how it's going to affect my body. But it's like, I know that I would have real FOMO if I don't pick that piece up.
Yeah.
So that's been my struggle. So what has been your experience or what's your knowledge around it and how do you practice it?
First of all, I'm in the same boat with you, but now with thrifted things. Even if it's thrifted and then I still continue buying a lot, it doesn't make sense. I think over the last 5 years, I haven't shopped a lot of clothes, purely because I've been here too much. I think it becomes easier to do that when you travel a lot. You see so many, oh, that cute top for my kid, and then I want 5 of those in one color and the other, so I don't have to worry when one is old. Or socks, and then you buy like 10. No, socks is okay. It's the tops and the cute clothes and the linen. For me, the linen. I love linen so much, I might overdo it. For fashion, I think we have to analyze the difference between, first, there's sustainable fashion, there's ethical fashion, and then we have to break it down to another aspect we have to look at is we have to differentiate between non-toxic clothing and eco-friendly clothing. Eco-friendly clothing doesn't necessarily mean it's non-toxic. Over the last few years, we've seen so many brands, including Primark and Zara, and going into recycled plastic clothing. Yeah, so, and it's a big trend right now. I know it was such a big trend, but in my mind I'm thinking they collected plastic for the environment. Oh, I have to ride on that. I'm doing good for the environment, but I don't realize that this is mass production. This is extreme mass production. Instead of maybe doing the recycled plastic clothing, how about we first reduce how much we produce? Yes, recycled plastic clothing is eco, but what makes it possible for us to convert from plastic to fabric? Is it still safe enough for me to put it on my skin? Does it have toxins that my skin is going to absorb? There's such a big difference between non-toxic and eco-friendly. But yes, I don't think there's one true solution to having a sustainable closet. It is not. Just be conscious, reduce, maybe even have a target that you have. This is my account. This is the amount of money I have, and this is the amount of money I'm going to shop on clothing this year. I want to spend half of what I spent last year. Then you'll see the joy, and whatever extra you have, also declutter.
Yeah.
Declutter so that you start enjoy every piece. So you start looking at every piece the same way you felt when you first saw it. Because I feel like sometimes we buy so much.
Yeah.
You steal the joy from the one you loved most. So I think ethical shopping and ethical fashion is so wide. But I feel grounding rules. Shop less, for sure.
I think that's the number one.
Yeah. We don't have enough data on the toxicology of fabric and plastic. I would stay away from fabric, whether it's recycled or virgin. Just, I think I'm going to give it maybe 2 years. Then we'll know enough, we'll have enough data for us to base our shopping decision on or conscious consumption decision on. Local, buying local really helps. The challenge with made in Kenya, sometimes it can be expensive.
Yeah.
But you see, expensive is also relative. When you pay your people fairly, something like a living wage, not minimum wage, sometimes like, oh, the government says we should pay 15,000 for somebody who works in this region and this category. Okay, then 15 is what you get. That is so not okay, especially when you pay somebody 15,000, but one piece that they make is 15,000. And that is in Kenya. Sometimes I feel like you can actually get an eco product from China than sometimes from our local locally. But that also means that you're looking at sustainability and circularity from different perspectives, like the emissions for transporting it here, the welfare of the people that make it, how fair and how greener is the value chain that moves between the making of the cloth to me receiving it and how I'm going to dispose it off once I'm done with it. It's quite wide, so to say. I don't know if that puts a light on that, but definitely local. If you can afford to buy local, buy it. Sometimes it's 10,000 because there was a man or woman who was paid well, and that man was able to put children in school. There was good fabric sourced from good places. There's respect in how we treat you. There's a cost to everything. And the lower one is also a cost. The medium one is also a cost. The high one is also a cost. But look deep. It's like what we said before. Where's your money going? How is that going to? Because there's also karma in sustainability. We cannot continue manufacturing clothes and then pouring the chemicals that we dye our clothes into rivers. And these rivers normally end up in communities that don't have the ability to buy water from trucks. That is their water, and that same water is what grows their food. So your piece of cloth is actually killing people. And sometimes even sustainable fashion can also be part of that movement. So you really have to know, and you can't always know, but you meant well. You had the information and you meant well. But again, I don't want to take the niceness of sustainability and fashion. You can dress fashionably and beautifully and sustainably. Just give it a thought. Pay a second thought when purchasing. Yeah.
And I feel like also know the story behind it. Like
Yeah.
how we were talking about, when you know the person that you're buying from, how they function, then you know that you're creating more of an impact with this one piece of clothing than just dressing up and looking beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're helping the creator, you're helping the person that the creator employed to make this product, right?
Yeah, you're supporting the cotton growers that provide that cotton. It's a whole circle. It's a whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
Fashion is an ecosystem.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful, like to actually think about the circular economy, like how you said. I love the word circular. I'm going to use it now. Thank you so much for sharing all this valuable information. Just to add a little fun before we end, I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Cool.
I call it the rapid fire round.
Oh, bring it on. I hope I lose, so then I have something to study this year.
What's your one non-negotiable wellness habit daily?
I come first.
Awesome. What's your life mantra?
Oh, I don't have. I change every day and I'm allowing myself to change.
What's your favorite Netflix series?
Oh, that's nasty. I have too many. I have too many. But I liked Game of Thrones.
Interesting. I've never watched it. I watched like one episode and
I succumbed to the pressure. And it was a marathon.
Driving or flying?
Driving, for sure. It's more eco. I would want to have an electric car.
Hand washing utensils or dishwashing? Or putting it in the dishwasher, I mean.
Do you know there's two things? First, there's me as an African woman thinking, no, I'm not going to buy machines, but also the freedom it gives me, because if I do dishes that way, I spend more time doing the things I love, and it's more eco. Per liter, it washes more if you use a dishwasher than hand. But hand is what is accessible to me. Also, it's therapy.
Exactly what I was going to say. It's so meditative. You can like, think about
absolutely.
the whole day.
Also, you audit.
True.
Yeah.
Would you rather repair your clothes or recycle?
Recycling is so expensive. There's about only 9% of waste generated recycled globally. I don't want to contribute to the problem. I want to repair. I want to go back to how we used to do. I want to go to the patchwork. It's even a trend now. We used to repair so much. It's coming back as a trend. Repair, repair, repair. Recycle means that we've skipped. Recycle essentially means we forgot to refuse, we forgot to repair, we forgot to reuse, we forgot to refill, and went to the last one, recycle. Yeah.
Upcycle clothes or swap clothes?
Both.
Nice. Sitting on a chair or on a floor?
Floor.
A night at home or a night away?
Both. That's very unfair. That's very unfair. I can be a homebody, a serious homebody. I can tell you I'm not home, but I just want to be in the garden facing up. But also sometimes I crave to be away, to be able to put my thoughts down as I envision them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night, for sure.
Okay, last one. What's the one piece of advice you could leave our audience with?
It will be because you said it is. or it will be because you said it will be.
Perception. I like that.
Whatever you want, just step in there and do it.
Nice.
And right now, I think we live in such a good time. There's less gatekeeping than way back. Like if you had something to be solved, you had to go to a government office. Right now, you can do research. Information is everywhere. You just need to tap it. So if you say it is, then you have to make it is. You have to make it be. Yeah.
What is that quote? Be and it is, or what is it?
I was looking at, there are different versions. Yeah. But if you decide today, I'm actually going to try and get a hang of this imposter syndrome. Like that, I'm on a mission this year to get out of, I'm blocking myself. Also, actually, that's another one. Stop blocking yourself. You're awesome. You have so much. Go out and do it.
That's
and like
so
we
cool.
say, be the change you want to be.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Even procrastination is something that I'm really diving deep into. I just wrote a blog last week on like how you can move from procrastination to action.
Yeah.
And there's so much. Like I just came up with one framework, and I'm like, but there's so many different ways you can procrastinate. And I'm like listing all of them down and writing on it. I'll share with you.
Yeah, that's cool. Because sometimes when I do that, I feel like it makes sense. It makes perfect sense for me to push this from now. Deal with it next year.
But thank you so much for being here and answering all these questions really well, and sharing the wealth of information that you have, and for being here.
Always a pleasure with you. Always a pleasure.
I have a little appreciation gift for you.
Okay.
For being here and for sharing with us.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy them. They're right up your alley. I think so.
This is one of my favorite brands. I see some of my favorite brands.
Yeah, mine too. Special shout out to our gift hamper partners, the Natural Mums Company, Lelu Botanics, and Alchemy and Frequency. So hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this beautiful conversation with Nelly. And guess what? If you are in my self-care club, which is a membership community for high-performance mothers or women in general, women who mother, Nelly is going to be on it and giving a masterclass on how you can make non-toxic, hormone-friendly products at home. And if you want more details on what the Self-Care Club is about, you'll find them in the description below. And if you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like, comment what you liked about it, share with a friend, and subscribe, because your support means everything to us. Thank you for being here, and until next time, keep prioritizing your well-being.